Hello, this is Laura Robinson in the Chattanooga Area Food Bank Garden, and this is about the middle of September, and I'm going to do a quick walkthrough in the garden and talk about what's been working and what problems we've been having. So I'm just here in front of our pepper bed because we have transitioned quite a bit over the past month, probably since the last video you watched, from summer crops, and we're starting to get into fall crops. But we still have peppers, we still have okra, we still have sweet potatoes that are going to be pulled out the beginning of October, and a couple of tomato plants, a little bit of squash, but even some of that stuff's going to be pulled next week so we can get fall crops in the ground. So I did want to just start here with the peppers because I feel like the peppers have done really well this year, and I know hot peppers generally do here. The one that I've been surprised about the most are Anaheim peppers, and this is one that's on the smaller end. But they've been super productive, and I think I would definitely grow these again. They just kind of keep going and going. The banana peppers have been pretty good, although I think maybe they haven't gotten as much water. And then these guys, which were labeled jalapenos, which I don't believe they are because they're this bright green color, like a lime green color, and they're pointing up on the plant. So, not sure what happened there. We often get things mixed up, but I also read that there's someone called it jalapeno gate, as in like a whole bunch of jalapeno seeds got mixed up with other seeds, so nobody got the peppers they thought they did. I don't know if that's true or not. This is something I read. Here is a bed of lettuce that we put in recently. I believe it's called chalupa lettuce, and it was supposed to do well in warm weather. So I thought it would be a good kind of end of summer lettuce to sow. So we'll see what happens there. I also wanted to show you the Tokyo Bacana. If you guys have never grown this before, it's a great non-heading cabbage that germinates well in heat. It is prone to flea beetles though, so you'll see the little holes in there from flea beetles. So that's something you have to kind of deal with, which I'm dealing with on a number of things, and I just use Captain Jack's spray, which I don't use a lot of sprays on things, but I'm just gonna see what happens. So anyway, this is great because it's kind of lettuce-like, but a bit more hardy and a bit more, it has the same kind of nutritional value as like a cabbage or any other brassicas. Okay, so let's go in the garden, and we haven't had rain now for 2.5 weeks, I believe. Here's some pineapple sage, which is just coloring up, which is really pretty. 2.5 weeks now, so things are looking a little dry and crispy. We just pulled out all the basil in our herb bed and sowed cilantro and dill. I still have a bunch of plants left. Most of these are spoken for though. I might have some arugula and bok choy though, if anybody needs anything. We recently got this beautiful herb bed made, so I'm excited to see things kind of size up in here. I do have some peppers left in this bed too. This is something one of my volunteers wanted me to start. It's called ají dulce. So we'll see what happens. They're sizing up finally, you can see, but they're not taking on any color. So we'll see what happens. But look, this one, and then I planted some arugula in between. But these also have flea beetles. But this is what I like to do with a lot of beds, that if there's space, kind of keep the summer stuff in, but then plant fall crops around it, so that when the peppers come out, there's already something growing here. We have sweet potatoes here. This is the last of the honey nut squash, which I will be pulling soon. You can see the vines are looking really bad. There's like a little bit that's still green right here. But I was hoping to kind of get some of these last honey nut squash off of the plant, so we'll see if they're ripe. We still have lots of okra, both the green and the red variety. And I like these. They're super tall, but the stems are easy to bend over. Whereas some of these, like, look how thick this is. And it gets super tall, and it's not very easy to bend over. So you really just have to like stand or get a stool or a ladder and stretch up there. Otherwise, you're gonna break the whole thing. We have a few types of mustard growing. And some of this mustard, let me see. Oh, the India, Florida mustard. Look at how big these leaves are. They're just giant. I think I like that one and this one on the end, which is wavy. That's called green wave mustard. I think I like those two the best. This one is tender green mustard, and the leaves are just kind of, I don't know, there's not much to them, and they're pretty floppy. So I probably would not plant that one again, but I would plant green wave and India, Florida mustard. We just planted a couple different types of kale, so crossing my fingers those make it. I just direct sowed carrots and radishes in this bed, and then in another bed spinach just yesterday. We have 3 different types of cabbage growing in here. I don't think any of them are labeled, so I can't tell you what types they are. I do know this one over on the edge, the real little one, is Savoy, and I wanted to plant that because that did the best for me last year, especially over the winter. But the other 2 types, I am not 100% sure what they are. In this bed, I have Swiss chard. Here I have a variety of Asian greens. Bok choy, winter choy, tatsoi, and chijimasai. Maybe that's how you pronounce it. These again have flea beetles, and so I'm really hoping that the spray that I use is working on that. Still have habaneros growing. They just keep kind of going and going and going and going, but pretty soon I'm gonna have to pull that out. I have collards growing in this bed, along with a couple volunteer tomato plants, and this one has been pretty decimated by a tomato hornworm, as you can see right there. So we'll see how long kind of these chug along. This bed, I have 3 different types of squash. Well, I should say 2 types of squash and 1 gourd. And if you can see in this video, it's called a snake gourd. I have 3 of them growing, but the vines just keep going and going. Like, it went all the way over here into the tomato bed and is now growing up this trellis. And it just is a monster of a plant. I did harvest some of the shorter ones, or the smaller ones, to eat, and I did try one. It's just kind of like a zucchini, pretty plain tasting. But these bigger ones I'm hoping to let stay on the vine until the skin hardens, to see kind of what I can do with it. I feel like it could be something cool, like a musical instrument for a kid or something, I don't know. So TBD on that. We have a little bit of Desi summer squash left, and you can see that growing down here. It kind of gets the size of a baseball or a softball. I probably need to pull this out by next week so I can get the fall stuff in, but it has done a good job of, like, it's sized up really fast, it's produced a lot, and I think I just planted it midsummer, so I'm gonna say July-ish. So it's definitely something that I would plant. It's like an option to plant maybe after your initial summer planting, or if something dies off in your garden and you want to put something else in. I think this is a good option. I planted some kohlrabi over here just yesterday, and I have some asters in here, which I started from seed, which I've never done before. So I'm excited to see those coming into bloom. I have more kale and cabbage over here. This is something I really hope survives the winter. It is purple sprouting broccoli, and the plants look really good right now. I think a squirrel was in here eating. You can see some of the leaves were getting eaten off, so I put this protection over it, but they're growing very fast, so I don't know how much longer I can keep that on. But it's supposed to do well in cold weather, so we'll see what happens. But I would love to have a good broccoli option every fall. And we still have some tomatoes over here, which I think this is all going to get pulled out next week. I have found a couple tomato hornworms on there, but there's still plenty of fruit, so it's really hard to pull plants when you know that there's still a lot of fruit left. So we'll see what happens. And then there's lots of basil that has gone to flower long ago, but you can see the bees are still enjoying it. There's a pretty butterfly. And more sweet potatoes. So I think that's about it. I would love to hear how things are going in your garden. If you have any suggestions, what are your ways that you handle flea beetles? I would love to hear that as well. I know you can put row cover over the top, and that's supposed to help. But yeah, if you have any other suggestions, I'd love to know it. And yeah, reach out if you need any seeds to sow anything kind of last minute. I still have plenty of fall seeds. And if I don't hear from you guys, hopefully your fall growing season goes well. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.